Right now, all across Canada, there are seniors who are about to open their banking at the end of the month, the way they always do, and find that a check they have counted on for years simply isn't there. No letter warned them, no phone call, nobody knocked on the door to explain, just an empty space where several $100s used to sit, money they needed for groceries, for heat, for the prescriptions that keep them going, and here is the part that breaks my heart every time I see it. Most of them did absolutely nothing wrong. They weren't careless, they didn't break a rule. They simply never understood one small thing that nobody ever took the time to explain to them. And they are not alone. There are thousands of Canadian seniors sitting in this exact position, and most of them have no idea the ground is about to shift under their feet. Some are about to lose money they cannot afford to lose. And a huge number of others are actually owed this very same check, month after month, and have never claimed a single dollar of it, not because they don't qualify, but because nobody ever showed them the door or told them they were allowed to walk through it. So today, that stops. I'm going to explain exactly what this check is, why so many seniors are suddenly at risk of losing it, the one quiet mistake that causes it, and the simple thing you can do to protect it, or to claim it in the first place if it's yours and you've been missing out. Stay with me all the way to the end because I've saved the most important piece, the part that protects your family the most and for last. My name is Paul Harrison, and I cover the financial rules that affect Canadian seniors specifically, the ones the government won't explain unless you know the exact question to ask. I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't work for the government, and I don't earn a single cent whether you claim this money or not. I just read the rules so you don't have to, and then I tell you in plain and honest words what they actually mean for your money. So let me start with what this money actually is, because this is exactly where the confusion begins for so many people. There are two separate things here, and they get mixed up constantly. First, there's your old age security, the pension nearly every senior receives simply for having lived in this country long enough. But sitting quietly beside it is a second, completely separate payment called the Guaranteed Income Supplement. Most people just call it the GIS. It's an extra monthly amount built specifically for seniors living on a lower income, and it stacks right on top of your old age security. And here is what makes it so precious. The GIS is completely tax-free. Not one penny of it ever goes back to the government. For a single senior with little other income, the GIS on its own can add up to somewhere around $1,100 every single month. Stack that on top of your old age security, and you're suddenly looking at a combined deposit of well over $1,800 a month, with the GIS portion landing in your account entirely tax-free. For a senior stretching every dollar to the end of the month, that is not a small thing. That is the difference between a retirement spent white-knuckled with worry and one where you can finally breathe. Now, before I explain why so many people are about to lose it, let me answer the question I can already feel some of you asking. If this money is real, and it's this much, why has nobody ever told me about it? It's a fair question, and the answer is the same quietly infuriating truth every time. This money does not come to you automatically. There is no kind person in an office somewhere whose job it is to look at your situation, notice you qualify, and reach out to sign you up. That person does not exist. The benefit hides behind a confusing name and an application most people never see, and the seniors who need it the most are exactly the ones least likely to go hunting for it, so it just sits there unclaimed year after year. But here's the part I really need you to understand today, the reason I couldn't wait to make this video. Because there's something about how the GIS works that almost nobody grasps, and it is quietly knocking honest seniors off their payments every single year. The GIS is not a check you claim once and then keep forever. It doesn't work that way. Every single year, the government recalculates it. They look back at your income from the year before, and based on that number, they decide what your payment will be for the next 12 months. And how do they know your income? From one source and one source only, your tax return. Your tax return is the key that unlocks this check and keeps it flowing. Without it, the lock slams shut. So here is the trap, and I need you to hear this very clearly. If you did not file your taxes, maybe because you thought, I'm a senior, I've got almost no income, why on earth would I need to file anything? Then the government has no way to confirm what you earned, and when they can't confirm your income, they don't give you the benefit of the doubt. They don't call to check in, they simply suspend the payment. The deposit that arrived faithfully every month just stops, and the only warning you get is that empty, silent space in your bank account where the money used to be. Please read that back in your mind because it may be the single most important thing I say today. Even if you earned nothing at all, even if you owe $0 in tax, even if you are absolutely certain the government already has everything they could possibly need, you still have to file a tax return every single year to keep this money alive. A senior with no income at all, who files a simple return showing zero, keeps their check, uninterrupted. A senior with that exact same zero income, who doesn't bother to file, loses it. That is the entire difference between the two. And thousands of good, honest people fall straight into that gap every year, spending weeks frightened and confused, never once understanding why their money simply vanished. And this year, there's an extra reason this matters so much, because the GIS is recalculated in the summer, based on the income you reported for the previous year. So the seniors who filed on time get their payment smoothly recalculated and carry on, but the ones who let their filing slip, even by a little, are exactly the ones who get caught right at that recalculation and watch their payment stop. If you know in your heart that you haven't filed your most recent return, please don't let another week go by. That single piece of paper is the only thing standing between you and a check that could otherwise simply disappear. Let me put a face on this because a number never truly lands until you can picture a real person. Think of a widow. I'll call her Margaret. Margaret is 74 years old. She lives alone in the same small home she's had for decades. She gets a modest pension, and for years like clockwork, her GIS check landed in her account and quietly carried her through to the end of every month. Then one year, in the fog of a hard winter and a health scare, she just didn't get around to filing her taxes. She had almost no income, and honestly, it felt like the least important thing on her plate. And then her check stopped. For months, Margaret went without the payment she depended on, terrified she'd lost it for good, rationing her heat, lying awake doing math that wouldn't add up. She hadn't done a single thing wrong. She had simply missed one form in the hardest stretch of her life. The moment someone helped her file, the money came back. But those weeks of fear, the sleepless nights, the going without, none of it, not a single moment of it, ever had to happen. All because no one had taken 10 minutes to explain how the system truly worked. Now here's where I need you to really lean in, because this is the exact moment where people quietly count themselves out and hang up on their own money. So many seniors take one glance at the GIS and immediately think, oh, that's not for someone like me, I make too much. And they are wrong, flat wrong. They disqualify themselves right there at their own kitchen table before they ever bother to check. So let me give you the real picture. If you are a single senior and your income, and this does not count your old age security, is under roughly $22,000 a year, you very likely qualify for at least some GIS. For a couple, the threshold works differently, but the lesson is exactly the same. That line sits far higher than most people guess. So before you wave this whole thing away and tell yourself you earn too much, please actually go and check. A great many people who are dead certain they make too much land comfortably inside that window and never find out. Do not do the math in your head and decide for yourself. Let the application do the math. That is its job, not yours. And there's one more piece of this you need to know, because the rules just moved, and that changes things for a lot of people. The income limits and payment amounts for these programs are adjusted regularly to keep pace with the cost of living. Old age security itself just went up. And when those numbers shift, the line for who qualifies for the GIS shifts right along with them, which means seniors who were just barely over the edge last year can find themselves sitting comfortably under it this year without changing a single thing about their own lives. So if you checked 2 or 3 years ago and got told no, that decision is out of date. The line moved. It costs you nothing to check again, and it could be worth hundreds of dollars a month. Now, before I give you the last and most important piece, I have to warn you about something, because this is exactly the kind of money that draws thieves out of the woodwork. The moment word spreads about a benefit like this, the phone calls begin. Someone calls sounding perfectly official, says they're from Service Canada, and tells you they can get your payment started or your GIS reinstated today. They just need you to confirm your bank account number or your social insurance number to release the money. Stop. Hang up. The government does not call you out of the blue and ask for your banking details to hand you money. They don't. If there's a voice on the phone rushing you, pressuring you, asking for your numbers to release a benefit, that is a thief, not the government. You always go to the source yourself, and you never, ever give your information to whoever happened to call you. Now here's a piece of genuinely good news, especially for anyone realizing right now that they might have qualified for years and never applied. If that's you, please don't sink into regret, because the government can actually pay you back. If you were eligible in the past but simply never claimed it, they can issue you a substantial back payment once your application finally goes through. For some seniors, that arrives as a single lump sum that can climb into the thousands. Money that was always yours, money you were owed the entire time, finally landing in your account where it belonged. But you have to actually apply to receive it. Nobody is going to track you down and send it unprompted. So let's talk about exactly what to do, because I promised you plain English, and here it is. I want you to take these steps in order. First, and this protects everything else, file your taxes every single year, even if you have no income, even if you owe nothing at all. That one act is what keeps your check alive and flowing. And if filing feels overwhelming, please hear this. It's free. There are free tax clinics all across the country, run by trained volunteers, set up specifically to help low-income seniors file at no cost. You never need to pay anyone to do this. Second, pause for a moment and think about your most recent statement or letter from Service Canada. If you're receiving old age security but you've never once seen the words guaranteed income supplement on it, and your income is modest, there is a very real chance you're leaving this money on the table right now, exactly like Margaret was. That's your signal to act. Third, if you're not already receiving the GIS and you think you might qualify, you can apply through your My Service Canada account online, or simply call Service Canada directly and ask them to check for you. And when you call, don't feel you need to be an expert with every document memorized. You don't. You just say, in plain words, I'm a senior living on a fixed income, and I want to know if I qualify for the guaranteed income supplement and whether I'm owed any back payments. That one sentence is enough to get everything moving. Write down the name of the person you speak with and the date of your call. It is completely free to apply, and you never pay a single soul to sign up for what is already yours. And fourth, if your income is very limited, ask specifically whether you also qualify for any additional supplements in your province, because several provinces top up the GIS with their own senior payments, and just like everything else, no one will raise it for you unless you ask. Let me leave you with the hard truth underneath all of this. Nobody is going to knock on your door and hand you what you're owed. The system is quietly built to keep paying only the people who ask, and to quietly stop paying the people who trip over a form they were never told about. It will let you go your entire retirement never claiming a dollar of this, or watch you lose a check you leaned on every month, and it will not say one word to stop it. The only person on this earth who will make absolutely certain you receive every dollar with your name on it is you. So if this opened your eyes even a little, do one thing for me. Share it with someone you love who's a senior, especially anyone on a tight fixed income. Anyone quietly convinced the government doesn't owe them a thing. They may be sitting on thousands of dollars a year they've never once heard of, and they are the least likely person to ever go and find it on their own. You could be the reason they finally do. You could be the somebody that Margaret never had. And if you want more of this, the benefits most seniors never claim, the quiet mistakes that drain your money without you ever noticing, the simple moves that keep every dollar you're owed right where it belongs, subscribe and turn on the bell so the next one finds its way to you.